everything games, but this week is a little bit special as we have just finished off the conference of E3. So before we jump into the panel of gamers that are joining us today, I want to thank everyone who is joining us in the chat and who of course joined us for the past 2 days in each of our conference shows, watching our reactions and having a great time hanging out with all of us. So again, I thank you for all of your support, because without all of you, we wouldn't be able to do this. So, we're doing this a little bit different, as I am sure everyone is pretty tired with the past couple of days, and I am sure everybody wants to just get right into talking about some E3. But for the first time ever, with a neat little twist, we actually have 3 female gamers with 3 male gamers. So, let's start this panel off. Our reactions and the team that everyone knows and loves, starting with Xbot448.
What's going on, guys? Like I said before, thanks for the invite. I'm really psyched to be here, and I love talking E3. I've been doing it all day, and I can't wait to do it with you guys.
And next, of course, we have his better half, the lovely wife, Oh Snap.
Hi, guys. Thank you for inviting me on. It's a pleasure being here, and I appreciate it.
You know I had to give you the better half because, of course, I'm the wife of the other one, so we're always
Hey, hold on. I've admitted that past couple of streams I've said that as their introduction, so...
Of course. Next up, of course, we have 2 very great, strong gamers, starting off with Foxfire.
Hey, what's up? Thanks for inviting me, as always.
Followed off by, of course, not her better half, but chilling by himself, Zaz.
Awkward.
Yeah, when you introduced it as the group or the pair that everybody loves, I thought you were gonna say you guys, and I would have died laughing at that.
Wow,
I would have thrown up. I would have laughed so hard.
wow, I'm taking that as an insult.
It would have been really good comedic timing.
Oh my gosh.
Anyways, and of course, last we have the governor, GKB.
What's up, everybody? It's the governor, and I'm the best in this half. Like, that's it.
Wait, sorry, that wasn't supposed to be recorded. My bad. Anyways, and of course, the actual, who we all know, better half of this dynamic duo, and your host tonight, She-Wolf.
Boo.
Which I believe
Boo.
There it was.
dogs are walking over my freaking courts. Anyways. Alright, so starting off this E3 show and getting into all these enjoyable conferences that we all had. First we had EA at 4 p.m. on Sunday. So what was everybody's actual thoughts on this? They, of course, were not actually part of E3. They kind of did their own thing. So with this, do you actually think it hurt them, or did you even actually notice any form of change? Let's start with Oh Snap.
I was watching on Twitch, and they had a lot of people watching. I could imagine it would have hurt them a little bit if they weren't with the whole E3 within, Sony and Xbox and things like that. But for the most part, I think it was good for them.
What about you, Xbot?
I don't think it hurt them too much because people still, they wanted to see exactly what was going on, kind of live in the moment and stuff like that. They had a pretty decent presentation as well. So, I don't know, for those E3 fans out there, we always get leaks and stuff like that, going up to E3, but you want to see it fully kind of implemented. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I don't think it had that much. Maybe for the more casual type people that don't get into this time of year, they might have been like, all right, well, we saw what we saw, but I know I was still excited to see it either way. So.
Awesome. What about you other 3? What, just kind of chime in if you have any...
What about you,
okay,
randoms?
I kind of did that. I didn't forewarn the 2 of them that usually I'll call one person and then everyone can just kind of chime in after. I kind of...
Going off the rails already.
Yeah, we're tired this week, so...
I know, I am.
So-
No, actually, I'm happy about the EA jumped ahead of the game. I didn't really care much for the fact that it was just all day packed of here's Microsoft, Ubisoft, Square Enix, EA, and that was way too much to take in one day. So I'm actually kind of glad they jumped ahead of the gun and spaced out a little.
That's
Yeah,
interesting.
I agree with that. I think that it was nice of them to go off to the side and do their own thing. Granted, you could have seen all these things in the Xbox or the PlayStation stage, but it's fine if they want to do their own thing on the side and show off their sports, because if we don't have to watch that stuff if you don't want to. But I know everybody that was actually there, they were there for Battlefield and Titanfall. Maybe some Star Wars fans, but I feel bad for them because they didn't get what they wanted.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah. As far as like, did it hurt them or help them or anything? Honestly, that the jury's out on that. Who knows? Probably know next year or maybe a couple months after. Maybe they'll have some statistics or whatnot. But I think overall, like, EA could have had a really good show. I thought it was okay. I think, maybe their delivery wasn't the best. But that's kind of like the status quo with EA a lot of the times. I don't know.
Did you guys notice that they did like a game and then sports game and then a regular
Yeah.
game and then sports game? They did that on purpose, so
Yeah, that
you
was
would
kinda
stay
nice.
glued to the screen.
It was funny. I was still getting kind of settled in and everything. I thought you were talking about like the rehearsal leak at first, but like when it comes to EA and Bethesda went before time last year. It might hurt the E3 event a little bit, if more and more companies decide that they're going to do their own thing, but just kind of keep it around that time.
Well, did anyone actually if we wouldn't have known, say that they were not actually part of E3, do you think any of us would actually have known that if they wouldn't have said it?
I honestly, like, if I didn't know, if I was just a regular person that's not into like the industry and like doing all the news and all that kind of stuff, and I just watched the streams, I honestly wouldn't have known that they weren't there at E3, just watching the streams and everything like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
agreed.
All right, let's move on to the next question. So, with that, what do you think was the highlight of E3 show? Let's start with Zaz.
EA show?
EA
EA
show.
show.
I'm gonna get EA and E3 mixed up all the time.
Yeah, I want to say Mass Effect, but no, that didn't happen. I want to say Star Wars, but no, that didn't happen. And I want to say Battlefield, but I'm actually, for two reasons, relatively upset with that game now.
Interesting.
So I'm giving it to Titanfall. So.
Wow.
Yeah, I was not happy with the Battlefield 1 64-player multiplayer. It just wasn't what I was hoping for.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Why? Can you elaborate a bit?
Oh yeah, I'll elaborate. Well, I'm sure everybody heard about the France and Russia being excluded
Yeah.
on the disc, which is kind of like me just going above and beyond for historical accuracy to be mad about it. So I can kind of like let that one slide a little bit, but. I believe I can't remember if I said it on here for Guys with Quarters. Whenever I said that I was like wanting from a Battlefield game, I wanted like kind of the volley and trench warfare with the firing across the lines, very like very, very front-based, where you actually had to push people back. And we may see it from a game mode, may see it from a different map. But whenever I saw the gameplay, it was very much, hey, duck in and out of here and spray people with a submachine gun. And I was like, that's exactly what I didn't want.
Well,
So
do you think that was because nobody really had enough time to play it yet? It was kind of just recently demoed, maybe.
I think that was just the way that it ended up being. It was a control map, so like Control and Battlefield, for anyone who isn't familiar, 5 points on a map. You go in and capture the flag. It's basically like domination, exactly the same. So you had the people hopping in there, and then you had a very much unorganized, like it wasn't like a grand rush towards something, which I'm sure they're going to have a rush game mode, which is probably all I'll play. But the whole like just running around, every single person was using the SMG besides like two guys. So I was like, okay, if it's already defaulting just to being blasted around a corner with a submachine gun, that was what I didn't want. So
Well, Zaz, isn't that the problem or the concern with going with World War I is that most people have been kind of like indoctrinated in World War II and going forward. So
most definitely. Most definitely. That's why I was kind of hoping, like, for Battlefield's sake, they were going to do, like, very early on in the war, when it was, like, not as technologically advanced, to where it was almost everybody using a bolt action rifle, and I knew that was a hope that I would never get.
Yeah, you won't get that.
Yeah, if Battlefield, I mean, by any chance is listening, maybe do a dated one where you can only do the bolt actions. But
Honestly,
yeah.
I thought like I bet you like in their like beta testing and all that like pre-game before the game was like really getting fleshed out. I'm sure they probably tried that, and I think what happened is like it was too slow paced.
Yeah, probably didn't
So,
go well, right?
yeah.
Like we're supposed to be, and that's like me being the weird one of being like, oh yeah, I want like a good portion of me just kind of waiting in trenches for something to happen. So this is my own.
That's not even weird though, man. Because when you think about World War I, that's exactly what it was.
Yeah. And I was kind
I
of
see it.
yeah, that's what I was kind of hoping for, was a lot more historical accuracy, and maybe I'll get that. Maybe I'm just like, see, I saw one map, and I can understand trying to pick people up that not many people are going to think the way that I do on this, which I don't expect at all. Like, I don't expect anybody to want to sit there and sit in a trench and wait for a head to pop up to hit them with a bolt action. So I didn't expect that, but it was kind of immediately to the point where I was like, oh, everyone and their mother is running around with only the submachine gun, then you only have one guy. Like, there was no emphasis on the melee. I mean, the blimp was cool, the Zeppelin. But it was some, I guess I hyped myself up a little bit too much, and then I am now the victim of being disappointed by my own historical hype, which, I mean, even hearing about the development of this game, they were scared that people wouldn't even know what World War I was. So that's to the point where I just got to be disappointed in society, not the game creators. Like, they're trying to make money, so, you know.
For sure.
That's pretty crazy. What about you, Snap? What was your highlight of EA?
Definitely Titanfall 2. A little worried about the fact that they're going to be running on EA servers. That's a little concerning because every time I play an EA game online, I get kicked off.
Yeah.
That's definitely one of the biggest disappointments, is they're not going to have Microsoft's dedicated servers like Titanfall 1, because you hardly ever get kicked off of that game.
Yeah.
And
it was perfect. It was smooth. And other than that, I mean, I'm not into the sports games, and Battlefield looked interesting, but I feel like it's going to be like any other game.
Mm-hmm.
To be fair to Respawn and EA, they did come out and say afterwards. I don't know if this was like, hey, because they were getting a little flack for the whole server things, but they did say they're gonna have multiple different like Azure and everybody else's servers as well. What's that gonna mean for us? Who knows at this point? But they did say.
It'll be
it's gonna be
interesting
like
if they like break it. Yeah, like what if they break in, they like give Xbox, Microsoft servers, PlayStation their
Right.
servers, and PC their servers. It would be interesting if they can do that.
Yeah, I mean,
That'd be amazing, but I doubt it's gonna happen.
I don't see why it wouldn't, though. Technically, it's not like you're cross-playing. They still haven't ever, well, probably will never actually have like Sony versus Xbox. So, really, they could actually technically give them their own servers.
Well, if that's the case, if they do that, then the definitive version of that game will be on the X1, right?
yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Like-
I mean, I want this to be true. Like, I wish that it would be that easy. But knowing how companies are, they want you to have the same version as the other guy.
Banking
so.
on the fact that EA is going to take extra work after they've gotten their money. I don't know.
But see, like,
I don't know.
It would be Respawn who does it, but I doubt it. Still.
my whole thing is like Phil's already came out like multiple times and is like, hey, whoever wants to, no matter what platform you're on, to use the Azure servers, go for it. Like, we welcome it. We want you to do that kind of stuff. Why aren't developers just taking advantage of that?
It should be interesting. What about you? Oh wait, I already asked you, and we got Xbot. What about you?
What was your highlight, man?
Of course, Madden. I mean, what up? Nah, yeah, I'm just playing. It's got to be Titanfall. The game looked good. It looks like they're using the same engine that they used to build the first one. It looks familiar to me, yet different. I mean, you got more customization, you have more Titans. Of course, you have that awesome grappling hook. And when I saw that player use the grappling hook and kind of like that jet propulsion to get around somebody like that was on the tower, I was hooked right then and there. Everything else though, it was kind of like typical EA. Battlefield 1 looks good. I'm not a big kind of recreating old war type games. I'm not big into that, but it definitely did spark my interest somewhat.
EA is changing the way they do
I'm not
things
sure
at
if I'm going to
E3
buy it or anything,
2016.
but it looked good. For the people out there who like that stuff, enjoy it, guys. But definitely the best thing was Titanfall 2 for me.
GKB?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to kind of go with Titanfall as well. Like, just the gameplay and everything they showed. I was very worried that they were gonna change too much of Titanfall and kind of lose what Titanfall 1 had, but it was very much just a little bit added on to what Titanfall was already. I am worried about the servers and all that kind of stuff with connection issues and all that. I mean, let's be honest, EA servers haven't been the greatest when they release games. And I was kind of really interested to see Frostbite in the sports games and stuff, and seeing how how much better they would have looked. And they showed FIFA, and honestly, I didn't see much of a difference from the other versions at this point. It hasn't released yet, so maybe we'll see. Maybe the final version will be a little bit better, but
No, you're seeing what they're giving you. Trust me.
Well, in my opinion, of course, it's going to be Titanfall 2 because that's just my most anticipated game. That's what I am waiting for. I am, though, still a little disappointed we didn't actually get to fully see what the sword was about. I wanted to, see some, slow motion where the Titan comes down, picks up the sword, and slow motion just cuts another Titan in half, and would have been amazing, but oh well.
Oh, well.
To see it.
I'm starting to think that maybe that's only in the single player
Single
campaign.
player. I was just thinking that, G.
Yep, that's what I noticed.
You guys are wrecking my dream.
But if you notice within what we saw from the game, the Titans look more agile. We had one Titan spinning around, landing on one knee, coming up with that big Gatling gun right into the other one's torso or whatever. That looked really cool.
Yeah, I agree.
It definitely was, and
I don't know
another
about you guys.
interesting.
Good, Fox.
I was to say, I don't know about you guys, but it's all about that fee indie game.
Well, that's
kinda
in
interesting.
EA, so
It was in the EA show though. That fee indie game.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was the
it was in
purple
there.
poor man's Ori.
Yeah.
that was in EA's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's when she will fall asleep though. So
Well, no,
She didn't
'cause-
notice.
Wait, what?
Yeah, it was.
Oh, I was thinking for some reason it was Bethesda's. I kept thinking it was Bethesda for some reason.
No,
they
well,
have
I remember the game. I thought it was Bethesda's. That's all. But
No,
one
I
thing.
still love that game though. It's like a
Yeah?
little black wolf.
Oh
or
yeah.
Owl or
I
It
something
howled.
else.
howled. It howled. It's a wolf.
Okay, but one thing we gotta give credit for is EA's program when it comes to indies. I mean, come on, we gotta give them credit there. Basically,
yeah, they're
funding the indie
going out of their
development
way.
and
Yeah.
giving them all the money. I mean, there's
Yeah.
gotta be a hook somewhere though. Yeah.
I mean, they did well. Unravel was really good. I'm sure Fee's gonna be pretty good. They wanted to put it on stage for as long as they did it. They didn't think it was gonna be a good game, so.
Definitely agree. All right, well, chances are I already know the answer to this next question.
Uh-oh.
I'm sure I'm going
Do
to.
you?
Yeah, because it's what was the weakest point of the show, and I'm sure I know everybody's answers. But let's start with Fox. What was your weakest point of the show?
Star Wars. No, I'm kidding. Sports.
Zaz?
Star Wars. Don't give me a picture and show me Amy Hennig and be like, oh well, wait for next year, you idiot.
Yeah, they're like, look, it's gonna be beautiful, but you can't see it.
Yeah.
Hurts.
What about you, Xbot?
I actually have to agree with Zaz. Star Wars. I was so hyped to see what Amy is doing with a Star Wars game, and they give you just this little thing where a guy touches a wall and walks out a door, and it's like, all right, what else? And nothing after that. Definitely Star Wars.
Pretty crazy. What about you, oh snap?
Sports.
Yeah, that was
Everybody's on that spot.
He's an in the closet Madden fan. Don't get it twisted.
Oh man.
What about you, GKB?
Honestly, I'm gonna be a little bit different. When I watch E3 and all the shows, I'm really into the whole presentation of everything, and I just like to see the whole scope of what they were trying to do. And that's kind of my down point of a lot of the shows this year is they lacked content, they lacked the way of showing it and introducing it to the fans. Like, I mean, just like everybody said, like the Star Wars thing, like. Who wants to see a whole bunch of behind the scenes stuff? We want to see the games, we want to see the gameplay and all that kind of stuff. So for me, it's just they had potential to be a really good show and they didn't capitalize on it. So that was my low point.
That's pretty much what I was going to say was the beginning, right at the start. I didn't care about statistics. I didn't want to see statistics. I wanted to see gameplay, and instead you just had someone standing in front of a pretty red and pink background. So
See, I'm holding that. I'm holding my judgment about that for Ubisoft. So I'm just saying.
Oh, you didn't like the dancing candy canes? We'll get to Ubisoft in just a few moments. All right. So my last question for EA then is, what was your overall impressions of the show? We'll start with GKB. Seems you pretty much kind of just clarified that.
Yeah, I mean, like I just said, I just think the overall presentation wasn't there, but we kind of expect that from EA every year. I don't know, they have all these great IPs and all these great things to show, and they just don't pull it off well. They like to hear themselves talk a bit too much, and not show enough of content. So
Awesome. What about you, Zaz?
Oh, EA again. All this FIFA and no Mass Effect for me, no Dead Space. Gotcha. That's it.
All right, Fox, your overall impressions?
I guess it was lackluster. The whole presentation, it wasn't unique. I basically forgot about it the following day that it even happened. I mean, if it wasn't for the fact that I wrote the notes down and I was like, this is what they showed, I probably wouldn't remember EA even had their own show.
Alrighty, and Snap, what about you?
It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great. I mean, the thing that stuck out the most was definitely Titanfall 2.
Awesome, and Xbot?
Of course. All right. EA, 2 high points. You had the Battlefield and the Titanfall. Everything else was kind of meh. Their background, their stage was very pale. There was nothing flashy about it. So it just besides those 2 high points, there was really nothing else to get into in that conference.
Yeah, I definitely agree with everybody. It was lacking content. They should have actually shown more of what we wanted to see and not just random whatever they decided they wanted to show. So, okay. Next up we had Bethesda, who of course was starting off strong at 9 o'clock on Sunday after EA. And I'm sure everybody had high hopes that they were going to bring back the gaming fun, but again, was still a little lacklusting. So let's start with what was everyone's highlight of Bethesda. Let's start with Fox.
I would have to say my highlight was the way they ended it, even though I know it was pretty long, but it was Dishonored.
Awesome.
That's basically it. That was what I wanted to see, and they showed me more than enough, basically.
Yeah.
Exactly. What about you, Snap?
I thought Bethesda was pretty interesting. I got totally taken away by Dishonored 2. After they showed that, I was on Amazon purchasing it, and
Nice.
I pre-ordered it. I got the collector's edition. So after that, it was done.
Nice.
I get the mask.
That mask is dope, yeah.
Yeah.
It is. What about you, Zaz?
The Nervous guys, I really liked. I liked when Todd Howard showed his beautiful face and gave me the only things that I wanted, which was a remaster that I was first against.
But now you're all for it.
Well, I saw mod support and I was like, okay,
Yeah.
I can deal with this. Because I wanted Oblivion, but I'm over it now. And then of course, Nuka-Cola World is the greatest thing. I'm so into Fallout that I don't want to be proud of the fact that the DLC was my favorite part of that whole conference, but that's not on me. That's on them.
Yeah, that's true. What about you, GKB?
My highlight of the show, at first it was like seeing Quake. I was like, oh my god, it's Quake. I love Quake. That's what I really loved about Doom. It felt like a lot like Quake. And then they said, oh, it's only for PC, which is fine. I mean, that's where Quake started and all that kind of stuff. I think they're missing an opportunity to bring it to consoles. Maybe they will at some point. But my highlight, it'd probably have to be the remaster, honestly, of Skyrim.
All right, and what about you, Xbot?
Confirmation that Prey exists. All right, we had this big thing. Like I was like, is that gameplay? That can't be gameplay. I don't think that's gameplay. But to see a reimagining of Prey, I was a big Prey fan on the 360. Absolutely loved that game, and then of course Dishonored kind of took me away as well. So I actually have two.
All right, well, for me, truthfully, I don't actually have a highlight. Though I don't know, maybe the card game was pretty cool.
Card game.
Card games, right? I wanted to see Evil Within 2, and I didn't get to see that, so, a lot of it's DLC, which most of us, knew or had an idea, or, of course, Bethesda VR, but, I wasn't really into Dishonored, so I didn't really have a complete highlight of it, but that's okay.
No, nobody's psyched about that Prey though. Seriously, am I?
Yeah,
It was cool, but
it's
I
awesome.
don't get excited over a game that I don't really know much about. So it wasn't really.
I think
I
as
didn't-
as like more stuff comes out with like more teasers, more gameplay and stuff like that, I think I'm gonna get more and more hyped for it for sure. I'm just kind of a little apprehensive at this point.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
Alright,
but it looked good though. The
Yeah,
trailer.
it did look good. I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
All right, so then moving into the next question though, what do you think was the weakest part of Bethesda's show? Let's start with Zaz on this one.
When the nervous guy showed off Hearthstone.
Okay, let's go to GKB.
For me again, much like EA, I thought they would have had. I thought EA and Bethesda had the potential to like win the entire E3 with the content that we thought they were going to show and potentially was leaked by everyone. Again, I think there was missed opportunities. I think the show as a whole was kind of meh. They did have some high and low points, but I think last year's show from Bethesda was much better. But yeah, that was kind of the low point for me again, is just the overall show.
Xbot?
Low point. I'm not into card games, but I can't knock it for people that are. People find interest in different things. For possibly how long they spent on Dishonored 2. Now, granted, like everything that they showed in Dishonored 2 is what got me to really get interested in it. But man, that did go on for quite a long time. And when they showed their first clip, I was like, yo, they didn't show any combat. I'm taking points away. I didn't know that they were going to scatter it between here's some gameplay and here's a lot of talking and then here's a little more gameplay and then here's some more talking and then trailer. Like, that was way too much time.
Definitely agree. What about you, Fox?
Yeah, I would have to say the card game and the VR. Whenever they wanted to actually point out something about that, I wasn't interested.
Oh yeah, good one. I forgot about that. Bethesda VR.
I know, I just said that before, like...
Yeah.
Oh, I was in the chat, sorry.
Then he doesn't listen to me anyways, it's okay. Okay, so what about you, Snap?
I thought the show was alright, but I guess if I had to pick a low, it'd definitely be the card game, because I can't understand them. I can't get into them. I mean, I understand the basic part of it, but I've never got into card games like that, and I was definitely disappointed that Quake was PC only. So that was my lows.
See, I have to agree with you. I actually, when I saw the trailer for Quake, I was actually really excited to play it, and then for them to come out and say, "Oh, it's PC,"
Yeah,
that yeah, I was pissed. I was like, why'd you even bother to show it? Why didn't you just wait and show it on the PC stage then?
True story. I
was pretty mad about that. All right, well, let's go to everyone's overall impressions. Let's start with Xbot.
I actually put all the conferences kind of like in order. once like the main conferences were done. I actually put Bethesda as second on my list. All right, I know they talked a lot about Dishonored 2, but they kept me engaged. They showed me something I really wanted with Prey. They could have showed me more, but they really kind of you know, they got my interest. They got my eyes looking that way and stuff like that. Was it the most perfect one? No. And did it help that they followed like after EA and what a drag EA was? Yes. But I think all in all, it was a decent conference. It kept me engaged. So
Awesome. What about you, Snap? Hello?
hello, lady.
I guess she is gone for the moment. We will come back to her. What about you, Zaz? Did we lose Zaz too?
No, I'm still here. I was just.
We're the only ones here.
I feel like I could have gotten the Fallout 4 DLC and the Skyrim announcement in an email, and they just spent a lot of money on nothing. Wait another year, Bethesda. They actually have something to give me.
Well, that's definitely true to that point. What about you, Fox?
I mean, the whole show, I wasn't happy with it. Like Xbox, I actually rate like which ones I guess like would be first, second, and third. This one was third because most of the time they talked about stuff we already know exists, like Fallout, Skyrim, Doom DLC, Elder Scrolls DLC, and stuff like that. So I wasn't really interested. Oh yeah, and Dishonored, obviously, we knew that was coming. So they did talk about a lot of stuff that we already knew about. Nothing special besides Craig and Prey. So, I mean, I really didn't care for this one. I mean, yeah, I agree with GKB. They had a better show last year.
Awesome. What about you, GKB? Your overall impressions?
Overall impressions of the show?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, man, Bethesda kind of missed the ball. I thought last year's show was better. I think overall, though, I mean, it was a good show. Like, they did show a lot of stuff. I think they spent too much time on Dishonored, even though that game is beautiful and the gameplay looks fantastic. Prey looked good. Even, like, the remaster, Skyrim looked awesome. I don't think they showed that enough. That was really quick, which was kind of weird. But then they went into, like, some of the card game and the VR stuff, which is kind of like, eh. So, I don't know. It was alright.
Alrighty. Did we get Snap back? Or
I was frozen for a moment.
Alrighty. What was your overall impressions of Bethesda?
It was alright. I mean, it wasn't the best thing ever, but because they got me really hyped about Dishonored 2, I liked it. I went and purchased something, well, pre-ordered. So, I mean, it wasn't bad in my book.
Awesome. Alright, so moving on to the next one. Of course, the one majority of people were actually waiting to see and were very excited to watch when it did start, of course, was Microsoft, Xbox, EA, or there we go. See, I told you I was going to mix up the EA. The E3 show. So, starting off, they came out completely strong with a great lineup of games. What was everyone's highlight of this show? Let's start with GKB.
Oh man, there's so many for me in this show. Like,
well, you can only pick one.
Man, pick one. I guess I'll go with Recore because that's my most anticipated game. I was happy to see gameplay. I wish we could have got to see a little bit more, but yeah, I'll go with Recore. Forza Horizon 3 is like right there too.
Yeah. What about you, Zaz?
There was only one thing that really got me, piqued my interest, and that was a game that I don't know if I mentioned that I've been waiting for a long dang time, State of Decay 2.
Got that co-op, bro.
Yeah, that's what took it for me. I was like, oh crap, thank goodness.
That MMO style game. And what about you, Fox?
Of course, Gears of War, but everything in the show obviously was amazing. But yeah, I was just gonna say Gears was the highlight of everything.
Awesome. What about you, Snap?
Definitely Gears. That was probably like my top choice game.
And Xbox.
When it comes to that conference, I know you guys are saying games. All the games looked absolutely amazing, even like the indie sizzle reel. But I got to go with that mic drop moment when they actually told everybody they were working on Project Scorpio. Oh my goodness.
I think we would. I think it would have been more of a highlight for me if it wasn't leaked first. If we didn't actually know about it, I would have been
That's
more
what I'm
hyped for
saying.
it. But we knew about it, so it wasn't really. And we even knew the specs. Like people have been dropping, which, for instance, somebody who's actually in the chat right now, Crab Gamer, had kind of filled everybody in ahead of time of what this was. So
I know, but to see the motherboard, to see the chips, to see kind of like they teased you with the silhouette of what it is like right now, which might change a year from now. Don't get me wrong, but just to have that visualization and then the recognition, like, yeah, this is what we're working on and this is for you guys. Like that whole thing had me incredibly pumped.
Yeah, for like I say this too, like all the time, like with the leaks, like for us, like that's like the thing that we always get. Like we'll see all the leaks, but like for the regular person that just cares about like seeing the shows and stuff, they probably didn't even know any of this stuff was coming. So I would like to have seen it, yes, from their eyes, because we probably would have been like, oh my god, I was kind of doing that anyway, but
creative chatter.
Yeah, but I kind of like every year, no matter how many leaks come out, I just like to see the show, how it's all put together, how they show everything and introduce it to everybody. I think that's just really fantastic stuff.
Gee, you gotta admit that stage looked amazing, man.
It did, man. They keep like outdoing it like every year.
Yeah.
One of my most highlighted moments, as much as I'm sure not a lot of people are going to agree with me, but I have been waiting for this like for such a long time. But the customized controllers that you can actually color and put your gamer tag or whatever you want to engrave on it. That was, and we didn't know about that. Like nobody knew that you were gonna get, like, you would be able to customize one of the new controllers with it's gonna even have like the textured grips on the back. So that was actually a great thing. And also seeing Sea of Thieves, like the actual gameplay. I want the game now. There was no release date.
Going back to what you're saying about the controllers, She-Wolf, with the design labs or whatever they're called there, I think it's like really cool that they announced that, and I wanted this too as well. But seeing like the community making their own controllers and throwing them out there on Twitter and social media and stuff, I thought was really cool, man. They come up with some great designs on there.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I just wish they had more colors. Like, I don't know if anyone actually noticed. Like, I wish you could have actually had. Well, I know it's a standard base, but I wish they would have like maybe gave you, like, the actual controller to go through and maybe try to change the color, so you could actually have it a little bit more personal. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I mean, when they start doing that though, you're gonna get into like more price and stuff like that. The more features they allow you to do, the more expensive it's going to get. So I think they wanted to keep it at a certain price point for people, so they probably had to limit it a bit.
I guess, but I don't think the coloring would have really, because phones do that. You can like go on and like play with a color changer and.
But like the outside's not like every color of the rainbow though. You only get like a few colors though. Is what I'm saying.
I don't know. I just think there could have just been little bit more, but I was still happy with it.
You're never happy. You're never happy.
No.
Well,
that's okay.
Guys, basically this is just the beginning with the controllers. I mean, if they get so much like positive feedback, so much interaction, they're just gonna add more to it and make it better. I'm actually looking for them to start doing that with the Elite. I know the Elite will be a little bit harder because of kind of like the complete rubberization around the controller. But I thought it was a good idea. It's just that now that I have the Elite and I've been playing with the Elite for so long, I'm not going to go back to the plastic. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I thought that too, and I kind of go back and forth sometimes. Like, I love the Elite controller. I use it like all the times, but I also have a Scuff, and I mean, I have just about every Xbox controller they've released for the Xbox One, but the white one I keep going back to from time to time because it's just got that same kind of feel. It feels a little more premium than the other ones. But my
Plus, we don't know exactly how this one is going to feel either, though.
Yeah, true. I mean, yeah, that's true. I mean, but I do definitely go back to the Elite. I just like the way it feels and everything like that. But from time to time, I kind of swap it out.
Plus, it all depends on the game you're playing as well.
That's true. I was going to say that when I use, like, my Halo control. I play like arcade games and stuff like that.
Yeah. Speaking of the Elite controller, though, what was everyone's thoughts on the Gears of War 4 limited edition $199 Elite controller?
That thing is
Oh my God.
freaking amazing, and I know Fox is like putting like money away for this already because I know she's like a huge Gears
yeah.
person for sure.
Yep.
But like when they showed like
I'm
the
getting
open, yeah, like when they showed like it opened and like and everything in there, even like all the thumbsticks were like color coded and everything like that, and I was just like, wow, man, they really put a lot of time into that one.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah, you can
Yeah,
even like
definitely.
feel the engraved scratch marks on it and everything.
Oh.
Yeah, it's gonna be amazing. It looks so cool. I noticed that he had a different control when he was on stage talking, and I'm like, uh-oh, what's gonna happen? I thought he was gonna show the control and the console, but he just showed the Elite, and I'm
Hey.
like, no wonder.
Hey Fox, did you like your heart skip a beat and stuff? Were you like about to pass out or whatever?
From the moment he said, they said Gears and then Horde mode, I was already
Oh,
like freaking
yeah.
out and
Horde
jumping.
mode?
And,
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I was already jumping up and down, and then I saw the Elite, and then my brother's telling me to calm down. And I was like, okay.
So far, apparently, it can only be pre-ordered from the Microsoft Store, and it's
Yep.
only a limited
That's fair.
edition. So
Makes sense.
whether how many are actually going to be out, but at the same time, just to give maybe some form of hope, Gamescom is still coming, and there is still the chance of that there's going to be a slim custom Gears.
Hell yeah.
You know,
I
we
definitely could
usually
see that.
we usually get them, you know, about a month to a month and a half before the game is actually released. So there is still always that possibility of custom slims coming out. So
Yeah, and if that happens, I'm definitely getting one of those.
but that's always something, you know, to look forward to. And
Big shout out to the 55 plus people watching us right now. That's awesome. We really appreciate it, guys.
amazing.
Nice.
Thank you.
What's up, everybody?
I only see 54. Oh wait, never mind.
50.
So
No,
speaking-
56 now. I'll keep
We're gonna keep counting.
Yeah, speaking of Xbox and their great lineup, what was everybody's low point of this conference?
Oh my goodness.
I'll go first.
Go for it.
I'll go first. Fox, do you know what I'm gonna say?
Yeah, I know. I'm already smiling.
Then I don't even have to say it. Never mind. Move along.
Okay, so we know Zaz was Gears.
But to be fair, like even Zaz, like when like you're looking at the game and the graphics and everything like that, it did look pretty
Yeah.
good though. You have to admit there.
I was seriously like the first time like the moment I saw it, I was immediately about to tweet out at Fox and Bear, and I was about to be like, oh my gosh, look, Gears actually attempted to voice act and script. Here you go.
That's
I would have
funny, bro.
totally retweeted that.
In fairness, I did like the set design a little bit and the fact that they debulked the character models.
Yeah, I agree, man. I like that too, man.
And I mean, in honesty, even though I hate this franchise, just like I hate Call of Duty, every game is a different game, so I will not just turn a blind eye to this game. It's getting a red box. So there's that. I'm not gonna throw it in the toilet until after
The Zaz Red Box list. It's right on top,
Yep.
right there.
technically Gamefly, but I won't mention them anymore.
That's pretty awesome. Also, what about you, Xbot?
Low point. All right, yo, actually, somebody in the next podcast crew is gonna absolutely kill me for this, and I'm probably
wait.
gonna get some hate out here, but I gotta say it was probably Tekken, to be honest with you.
Oh, shit.
Yeah,
Alright,
that didn't look as good, especially when like they showed the preview of Killer Instinct with the new Gears character, and then they go to Tekken. Like,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, I know they want to show that, you know, they got support from like the third party and stuff like that, and I know Tekken was a name that kind of grew over time, especially, you know, PlayStation 1 going up and stuff like that. But for me, when it came to Tekken, even when I was playing games back in the arcade, I would rather play Mortal Kombat. That's where I even played Virtua Fighter more than I played Tekken.
I have to
Oh,
agree
wow.
with you, Xbot, because like I've never been a
There you go.
big Tekken fan. Like the whole like 3D like moving around, I just never was a fan of that. I was always like the Street Fighter, the Killer Instinct guy, like Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
I always like that, you know, side-scrolling type fighter.
Exactly, and you know, I'm not trying to say anything bad towards people who, you know, who like the game. You know, you
No,
like
it's
the
still a
game,
cool game, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you got pumped over it. I'm happy for you. You know what I'm saying? But just for me, I was like, man, we could have went right over that into something else. Possibly, show me Crackdown instead. I would have been 110% happy. You know what I'm saying?
Honestly, I was surprised it was even on Xbox's stage, to be honest with you. I was like, holy crap, Tekken's here? Whoa.
Final Fantasy, come on now.
Oh, Final Fantasy too. Like, yeah.
I'm so glad you said that because I was just about to say that. Like, I found
Yeah, I
that
was
so
about to say
weird.
that too.
It was like,
expected that. I know, like, we're in the industry, like, kind of in that gaming news and stuff like that, so we kind of had an inkling before time. But for the people who don't look into this stuff, I mean, who expected that, really?
well, I mean, it just doesn't seem like playing to your demographic. Even that's what's kind of.
They're
odd
trying
to
to
me.
expand, I guess.
I guess so. I mean, it just seems like a weird place to do it.
I'm pumped for
they were definitely showing off all the types of games they could have that you guys could play on the Xbox, definitely. But
Well-
it was kind of odd.
Well, speaking of Tekken, for any Xbox Live members out there, Tekken Tag 2 is free to everyone, so just
I
a heads
downloaded
up.
I did, just for one reason, and the guy, like, the person in next podcast is K Mega. He's a big Tekken dude, and I downloaded it just to beat him. So if K Mega is listening right now, dude, I am challenging you to this game. So whenever you're ready, join the party and let's
Wow.
do
Oh,
this.
wow. Called out.
For real.
A battle has been made.
We're still on the low points, right?
Yes.
Like, for me, man, the low point, jeez, not really a lot for me. And maybe I'm a little biased because I'm an Xbox guy, but
I'm an Xbot, but I'm freaking pissed the fact that they didn't show any new actual IPs.
yeah.
That is a good point.
Yeah, I'm
They
not.
kept saying, we have new IPs, but we did not see a single new IP.
Well, was that like leaked that we were going to see new IPs, or we just expected that we would, but we didn't?
Well, no, I
or-
thought Phil or Mike Gobar actually said there was going to be new IPs. Could be wrong, but I was pretty sure one of them said it. Either way, it's still a little.
We saw Gwent, but it's not really theirs.
Yeah, honestly, that's probably like my lowest point was like the Gwen thing. I wasn't really into Gwen.
Not Minecraft.
I didn't want to
Yeah,
get the
Minecraft,
hate for
but-
saying Gwent, so because I know there's a lot of like people that love that game in The Witcher, but it's that card game thing again, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's
Mine was
for-
not getting a Sea of Thieves release date.
Oh,
Oh,
That was
Yeah.
my low point. It really was. I
You know,
was so
that's-
hyped.
That's a pretty good one too, She-Wolf, because a lot of the shows really didn't have a whole lot of. I mean, Microsoft I think had a little bit more than everybody else.
At
but
the most.
yeah,
actually.
Yeah.
but a lot of them just didn't have release dates, which is kind of sucky. Because as a gamer, like you want to know when these games are coming out, when you're going to be able to
Exactly.
play these games. Man.
Cuphead.
Yeah, exactly. Like Cuphead. Like where's that one? Like where's Below? Like I want to know when Below's coming out.
Blow's like going on 4 years, man. Guess I'm over that already. Like it might be a great game and stuff like that, but they're gonna like that game's gonna have to come out and be out for a while before I even look in its direction now.
Yeah.
we didn't get one. Did we get one for Record? Because I don't remember seeing that.
Yep, it's
Yep.
September 13th.
Awesome. Because
Ooh, yeah.
I'm looking forward to that. But I mean,
Which is kind of interesting. Bringing up Recore, you can buy it or pre-order it right now for $39.99 on the Xbox Store. However, if you buy it on the Microsoft Store, the Amazon Store, it's $59.99 for the physical copy and $179 for the actual collector's edition. So, I thought that one was kind of interesting.
Oh, while we were talking about that too, I saw Best Buy had it also for $39.99.
Interesting.
awesome.
So I'm like, that's kind of concerning, but at the same time, okay.
I guess
Somebody
they
in
could-
marketing done messed up somewhere.
Well, no, it would have had to been a mess up on Amazon and Microsoft then at putting it too high, because I believe it was actually Major Nelson who actually came out and said that it was $40.
So it was weird though. It kept switching covers. There was like 3 different covers that kept switching.
So let me
I was
ask you
like,
guys,
what the
like,
heck?
is it does that concern anybody that it's a low cost, like right off the bat?
No,
Definitely.
actually, no. See, I'm actually kind of maybe they actually listened to all the fans throughout the last year who complained about the fact that these games that are only half games coming out at full price were not going to buy it because it was only half a game. Like this is apparently only supposed to be a single player game. So if it's only a single player game and there is no multi mode, then maybe they actually listened to the fans and were like, okay, well, we're going to bring it out at $40 because maybe we'll have a better chance at buying it.
That's,
You know what I
that's
mean,
a
though?
good fair point.
Jaded as crap. I'm like the first thing that comes to my mind when it's like $40 single player. I'm like, oh, Metal Gear Solid Ground Zeroes. And there we go.
Oh goodness. No, I don't think anything would ever repeat that except for maybe another Konami title. So
I just think with it being a brand new IP and the fact that it's only a single player mode, if these developers or whoever's bringing it out actually listened to the fans and decided, well, we're going to cut it to 40 for a better chance of it selling, I think it was a great business move.
Actually, you know what, too? I didn't even think about it when we were having the conversation today. Ratchet and Clank came out at $40, and that was just single player. So you know what? Maybe we'll get a full game.
Yeah, maybe.
Jaded no longer.
That's a good point too, man.
game looks good.
I mean, like with this generation too, man, is like always like, you know, when it hits that $40 mark, you know, it's a bad game or it's not selling well or something like that. So there's always that stigma with that price point. So, you know, I don't know.
Well,
I
just
think
like
it's
to
gonna
point
be.
out,
I'm buying it.
Yeah, Citizen says, of course, to me that Overwatch sold 10 million, which I completely understand, and that's great for the fact that they sold it. But there was still a lot of gamers that were kind of conflicted about whether or not to spend the full 60 on this
Yeah,
game.
oh snaps.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Now,
yes,
if-
okay, it sold to 10 million.
Yeah.
I
totally
happy
agree
for
with
the game.
She-Wolf too. Like, if they would have sold that at $40, would it be 15 million, 20 million right now?
Exactly, because that was one of the biggest points that, you know, they kept making was there was a lot of conflicted players. I'm not saying it was a bad game. It was a gorgeous game. I would have bought it if it was 40. Some people see it differently.
We got to focus again, though. E3.
Yeah.
E3, yeah. Back on track. Back on
I don't mean
track.
to go off on a
I
rant
could do a
here.
whole video of. He pointed that out, so I just wanted to
Off track
justify
2, though,
the
again. They are
confliction.
saying that Rand hit 1 million, so congratulations to him.
Good
Yes,
job.
to
Yeah,
everyone.
Ren. Woo.
Everybody who knows Randall Thor in the Xbox community, he was hitting 1 million gamer score on Xbox Daily today, and I'm guessing it just happened. So
And She-Wolf, what game was he doing it on? What game?
Halo,
Halo 5, right?
yeah,
I'm
it should
not
have been
sure.
Halo 5.
Nice.
I just wanted to
Let us
point
know in the
that out.
chat if he did do it on Halo. Let us know. Let us know for sure.
Yeah, we're kind of not able to watch it right at this moment.
Yeah, they said he was
Rand
nervous.
almost passed out.
That's pretty funny. That's awesome.
I mean, I'm pretty sure it was Halo 5.
Oh,
that he
big
said.
shout out to the 70
Yeah, that's
people
what he
watching
said. He
us.
was going to do Halo 5. I just wanted to point it out because I've been known to kind of dabble in that game a little bit.
A little bit, just
Oh my
kind
god.
of spin.
A little. But just, you know, a big shout out for, and of course, you know, anyone who's watching
71
who is
people,
missing it, I hope that you guys go back and watch it and check out Randall
will.
Thor. So yeah. Okay. Anybody else who'd like to give in their weak points of the show?
Also Minecraft.
Oh, that's
No, don't you dare. Really?
It was. That was kind of not needed. I don't think Minecraft needs to be
The
shown
game
every
is
year.
good, yeah, but they didn't need that whole stage.
If
Especially when they got their own con too.
yeah.
Like, why show it on E3?
that's true. Gee, that's a good point. But with what they're doing with that game,
Yeah, that's
now-
cool.
you know, having the ability of somebody using a console playing it, and then somebody else that's just like walking around with their tablet going into the same world and
Yeah.
playing it with that person, like that is a huge step. I
Yeah.
actually got word that they were doing that before time. I didn't know that they were going to show it in the conference though. So I actually kind of let my kids know. I do play Minecraft with Mad Skills, aka Justin, and the twins at points in time, and they're really excited. And that is just another step for Microsoft and Minecraft. Minecraft is absolutely huge. So
Yeah, and not to like tear down what Minecraft, Mojang did or anything. Good game, cool features. Grown adult man on a stage in front of people though said that
it does
he
look
had-
a little awkward.
he had made a mad scientist layer. Come check it out, everybody. It
Hey, bless
was
you.
Bless you.
Sorry.
the most
you.
awkward thing. That
I guess
I've
I'm
ever
talking
Yeah,
as a
and then
dad,
they had the
then.
headset on there. They had the VR as well. That wasn't necessary.
Big shout out to 70 people watching us. Thank you. You guys are awesome.
Thank you,
Nice.
everyone. All right, so of course, to end off the Microsoft Xbox E3 show, what was everyone's overall impression?
I thought it was fantastic. Like, they just, like, the first 30 minutes, like, when we were doing our reaction show, we were like, I was like, it's been 30 minutes and we haven't seen anybody talk at all, say any statistics. It was just game after game after game after game. That's what an E3 show should be, man. Like coming out there and just rocking it, showing you everything, no matter like if you like them or not, but they're just throwing games. Spent just a few minutes on features and hardware. Ended the show with Scorpio. Did some really nice, like We Happy Few is like one of the indies that I'm really excited about, and that thing is like creepy as hell when we watched that. I was like, oh my god,
don't take the happy pills.
I know, and I got yelled at by She-Wolf because I said oh my god too much and da-da-da, so
I heard that, actually. I actually heard that.
Okay, that was to everybody because I was trying to listen about the Scorpio,
No, see, that was you.
and of
That was
course
straight
everyone
at you,
was
man.
talking.
She was like, stop saying oh my god.
Well, I can't like yell at everyone else. I can only yell at you. You can't actually get mad at me and like leave.
Fair enough. But yeah, I think overall the show was fantastic. They're just ramping it up like every year. Ever since Phil took over, it's just getting a better show every year. So.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I think it was amazing. Overall, it was a good show. It had enough games that we wanted to see. It had hardware and it had features. So all the things I wanted to see were there. Obviously, there's a couple of things that they were missing, but overall the show was good. I really liked it.
Yeah, medium for me. My only word to Microsoft is like, you design software, learn how to not get stuff leaked, because I would have liked it a lot better had something been surprised. Like, set your firewall to very strict and let it so people like, because it would have been so much better had I not known everything that was coming. But
That's fair.
You know, not for anything, but a medium from Zaz, that's pretty good right there, man.
Yeah.
Generally.
What about Oh Snaps?
I was just gonna jump in, but I try not to talk over you guys.
Uh-oh.
Overall, I loved it. It was incredibly exciting. From all the games, because like GKB said, games after games after games. So many of them were incredible. Like I didn't see anything I didn't like or wasn't interested in. The clubs and the friendly user options that are there are really awesome. The Xbox Slim looks nice. I don't think I'm gonna get it, but it's still a highlight. And of course, Project Scorpio. And like Zaz said, the leaks kind of took it back a step, but for the most part, they did incredible.
I was quite happy with just the whole show in general. A lot of games, a lot of release dates, which I was happy about.
Yeah, I was smiling through the whole show. I mean, even though
Me
I had to
too.
calm down a bit from jumping up and down, I was smiling through the whole show because they know how to show off their product. I think.
Oh, yeah.
Unlike other people's.
I think they're close. Like
people's.
their other show, like on the Build conference and stuff, when they do like the Surface and all that stuff, they really know how to do a really good show there. I wish sometimes those guys would do the Xbox show and just see what the potential is there sometimes. But yeah, overall, I think they do a good show for sure.
Agreed. Alright, so let's move on now to the one show that decided it wanted to be 2 hours long.
Craziness.
Yeah. And of course, showing the funniest game ever with enough swears to just make your head
Go
roll.
South Park.
No, good.
South Park, of course. Ubisoft. So, what was everyone's highlight of this game? Or conference, more or less.
For me, is like South Park, man. That game, I love the first one. I think the second one's just going to be probably even better. They went out and said they fixed the things that everybody did not like about the first one, which is great because they're listening to the fan base. So that's fantastic. I also thought Watch Dogs, like, I was really down on that game. I didn't like the trailer or any of the teasers that I seen, but now actually seeing the gameplay and what the character can do and all the movements and the animations I saw him do, I thought it was fantastic. I'm actually really onto the whole Watch Dogs game. And also the Ghost Recon game looks amazing. So yeah, I think.
I really thought you would have said that it was the Splinter Cell outfit for Division.
Nah, that
Oh.
pissed me off. Actually, I was like, oh, Splinter Cell. They're gonna show Splinter Cell. Da da da. Nope. That's my low point.
It was
Yeah.
What about you, Zaz?
Where to start? So yeah, Watch Dogs, I was a really big fan of the first one. I think I was one of the only ones who actually kind of liked the character design of Aiden Pierce. But I'm more than happy to give this game a chance as long as it's not what it it doesn't show something that that is it possible when it comes out on release. Of course, South Park good. For Honor just took it for me. Like that
Oh,
game,
yeah, I forgot about that
I'm
too,
way
man.
too excited for. Like way too excited for. Like stupid excited for.
It looks a lot better than when we saw it last year too, man. Like,
But now, like, of course, I have to like look on things that are gonna spoil my fun all the time, and I'm seeing like the actual, and I'm waiting to hear from Inferno now too. I'm hearing the actual like playthrough of Ghost Recon, which I was like the most excited for, and a lot of people are saying it takes like really no thought, and it's not that well like conceived so far. So I'm a little bit
ooh,
scared.
that worries me.
So I really need to hear from Inferno as soon as he possibly gets done with it.
For sure.
What about you, oh snap?
I actually wasn't able to catch that conference. The only thing that I did see was the end with the game. I think it's called Steep, with the snowboarding and things like that. That one looked interesting. I would definitely demo it, but I can't really give a fair opinion.
Okay, what about you, Fox?
Oh man, that Star Trek VR though. Am I right? No? Anybody?
That was awesome, man. That was the show right there.
No, I went in there
No,
just
it was
actually.
the dancing candy canes. Get it right.
No, that VR though. So yeah, I just went in there actually wanting to check out South Park and anything else they would show me, like more Watch Dogs, I guess. But I actually came out really liking For Honor, so that's the highlight. I really like that one.
Nice.
What about you, Xbot?
Hey, Ubisoft. Oh goodness.
Oh, this is gonna be good.
Oh yeah. This is the bottom one on my list. This is
Really?
the
Oh my gosh.
bottom of the barrel. Now I can understand like the For Honor stuff. You guys are hyped for that, no doubt. To me, it just doesn't look like a game for me. South Park was absolutely crazy. I like the kind of turn based that they did in the first one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure about the strategic movement and stuff like that as well. Not feeling that so much. Steep looked really good, but unless it has some type of single player campaign, I don't think it's going to have longevity. I think with Ubisoft, what they did is they kind of relied on their quirkiness and being weird as like one of their crutches with the presentation. Now, I forgot the presenter's name right off the bat. Like I knew it before time, but she even
Tyler.
Yeah, she even pointed out things like, when you see such and such on stage, it's Ubisoft and slightly urine scented San Francisco. Little things like that were kind of cool. Watch Dogs looked good. When it comes to Ghost Recon, I'm a little scared at how expansive that game really is. It looked really good, but how much are they going to actually give you with variety? I'm a little concerned about that, all right? Because in the end, it's about gameplay, and it's about being able to do like a bunch of things, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, the nature aspect, the graphics when it comes to like being out in the desert looked really good, but I am concerned with how much they are going to give you in that game. So
that's a good point too, man. Because like if you look at the terrain and stuff, it looked very similar. And how much diversity could you really have in that kind of terrain? Yeah, I could totally see that, man.
Wasn't my question the highlight?
Well,
I don't know. I think I just
we just talking.
Okay.
to say
It's
about
all good,
Ubisoft,
just go
I
on.
just went all the way. I just gave you everything on Ubisoft.
Just ran home with it. He ran home with it.
That's okay because
We
telling
have
the
Jeffrey
truth-
Giraffe, from Toys R Us dancing on stage because he needs
Yeah.
money. Like it's and it's just like I know they've come across in the past as being kind of like that off-centered conference, but I think they've embraced that too much, and they might have used that as kind of a crutch. All right, like I said, For Honor wasn't really for me. For people who are hyped for it, like I said, that's all well and good. I hope you guys enjoy the game. There was just I mean I struggled going through that live stream. Oh my goodness, and yeah, that's pretty much what I gotta say about them. Yeah.
Nice.
It's alright. I fell asleep halfway through and had GKB yelling at me to wake up.
Good. I'm glad somebody else, because man, I had to tape my eyelids open and all sorts of stuff for that thing.
I did. I fell asleep. However, I did love For Honor. That game was, I was excited for that game last year, and then to see it actually progress the way that it is. Just someone who likes to do, like, for instance, community game time and game night with everybody, and big fan of multiplayers, this just kind of hit that. And there's like 3 different story modes. Like, there's 3 different stories for each character that there is. So I thought that was kind of neat. You get like 3 campaigns, kind of, and
I'm
a
surprised.
multiplayer. So.
What about the Division though? I know you're excited about that DLC.
I'm definitely gonna go back and play it for sure.
Yeah, when that releases, I'll probably go back and play it just to see what it
Yeah, I
does.
actually needed a reason to go back.
Did you
into
guys
that
get the
game,
season
so,
pass, by the way? I just wanted.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Okay,
kind of
so-
have to go back
Ditto.
and play.
So we should all go
Yep.
back and do it together because we all have the season pass. So we might as well just kind of throw it in there together.
Yeah, just go take an hour to run through all the
I'm-
DLC because that's probably how long it'll take.
I'm down.
Pretty much. Sounds good. And then, of course, again, South Park. South Park was just hilarious. And, of course, if you pre-order South Park, you get Stick of Truth for free,
That's awesome. Like,
which is amazing. Yes. And
I just bought it.
I know, right?
yeah, majority of people bought it because it was on sale for Xbox Live members. But hey, still a cool idea that you get it for free. And, of course, there's an awesome collector's edition that you get Coon, which now I have to buy that because it's just so hilarious. Yeah.
Desert, if you don't mind, I just want to Chicken Spaghetti in the chat. He said that Steep looked really good, and I do agree with him. It's really cool to have kind of like that natural with the snowboarding, the squirrel suit, the skiing. My whole thing is it's just you, your friends, and the mountain. All right, I don't know how much longevity that is gonna have. You know what I'm
that's not
saying?
my cup of tea.
Honestly, it
That's
looked like a
actually
VR
better.
title. It looked like a
It
VR
should
title to
have
me.
been. It should have been like jumping
like-
off the cliff and like
Yeah.
They had third
hang
person
gliding
view.
and all that
Right.
stuff.
Third person view.
I mean,
Right.
you guys know me with SSX when it comes to like snowboarding and
Oh
stuff.
yeah,
great.
that's the first thing I thought about when I saw
Yeah.
that actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still not. I can't see sitting in a party chat with a bunch of friends going down snow. Like, I was a really big actual snowboarder, so
Oh, nice.
going from that to a video game, it just can't. It's the same with all sports. I was really big in like majority of sports, snowboarding, skateboarding, rollerblading, basketball, all that. And then to go to video, I can't do it. I can't go to video games, and it just does not feel the same for me. So this game does not.
I think-
Snowboarding in Canada. What a surprise.
Hey, you know where I lived, we had a lot of mountains. So yes, I did a lot of snowboarding in Canada.
I think a lot of musicians feel that way about like Guitar Hero kind of games.
Chicken's funny. He's like, "Don't shoot me, GKB."
Yeah, I saw that, man.
Yeah, he just said, "Don't shoot me down, Snowwolf." It's nothing against you, sweetheart. It really isn't. You love it. That's
Yeah.
great. I don't know if maybe you live in a state where it's hot all the time. Again, it just comes back to I did it in real life, and it was a passion of mine, and I can't do it no more. So frankly, I don't
doesn't
want to play a
match.
video game of it.
Doesn't match the thrill. I can
No.
definitely see that.
No, especially, and of course you could. It's like an army guy playing a military game. They can see the things that are wrong that aren't actually
Yeah.
what it is, and it's kind of comes the same thing with sports and me. So
Is that the case, GKB?
Yep, that is the case actually.
I hear it a lot from him. That's not how that gun should be. Why are they
That's not how they react.
Tactics?
That's not the
Yeah.
call signs. What are they doing right now?
It's like watching video, like movies and TV shows. The same thing. It's not the same. You just know.
Word.
So yeah, so what is everyone's impressions then, or last thoughts or comments of Ubisoft's E3 before we move on to the last big hitter?
I think for me it was like one of my top 3 shows, just for me, in my opinion. I like Aisha Tyler. Like, I think she's a great presenter. Like, she's very funny. She kept the show going when it was kind of at its low point. She was making jokes and all that kind of stuff, so it kept me in.
She dropped that F-bomb right at the start.
Yeah, they didn't give 2 fucks in that show. They were just talking all kinds of crap. But I think the low points though were like, showing the Assassin's Creed like trailer behind the scenes kind of stuff. I was like, this isn't really needed. That's kind of
They
taking
snuck
me out
that
of.
in.
Yeah, and I was like, I mean, I understand they didn't have an Assassin's Creed game to show because they said we're taking this year off, so they want to throw something in there to keep everybody hyped for the game, and I understand that. But I mean, overall, I think it was pretty good.
But for the Assassin's Creed, I still say they could have like gave you just a teaser of the Egyptian one. They know it's coming
Yep.
next year, so they could have just gave you a like fine, show the movie, show your little thing you want to do, but they could have teased that right at the very end, just to
Agreed.
include a game of some sort to it.
Setting.
Yep. But overall, I think it was a good show. It was entertaining. I agree with GKB on that. And if I had to compare it with EA and Bethesda, I think Ubisoft had a better show overall. Obviously, if you like the games or not, that's personal preference.
I don't think they needed 2 hours, but
That's what actually Predator in the chat said that he was like the low point was it was long as shit. Like that was the
Yeah,
big
it was really long.
Alright then, so we are now going to move on to last but not least, another big show that a lot were waiting for, Sony, which coming out in a different approach than most of the conferences which we've seen at really any E3, coming out in a theater instead of just having the big screen showing off the games. What was everyone's opinion on the theater?
I thought it was cool. Like, they used to do that there, like, a few years back, maybe. I don't know, I was kind of, like, meh at first, but then I started getting into, like, the orchestra, and there's, like, some dudes that were singing in the background, and one was, like, getting really serious into it, and I thought that was kind of funny. But I think it was a really classy presentation, like Zaz said during the live stream and stuff.
Classy.
Yeah, it was classy. Like, I'm
Yeah,
not
I
gonna
mean,
lie.
do you guys, what was it, three E3s ago? Does anybody remember? I think it was the Sony stage. They brought out Gustavo something, the guy who did the score for Last of Us, and they did a whole video game score thing with like Mass Effect and like I think BioShock was in it and everything. I took that away as a good memory from that. So but I'm such a nerd for the scores of stuff. John Williams is the man.
I think it was definitely interesting though, like the whole stage, like orchestra theater type feel. I don't know. I thought like I was gonna go see an opera or something like that. So it was definitely interesting.
Unique.
I like the theater. The only thing is, though, they kind of lost me a bit, like the actual feel of the conference by constantly dropping, the curtain and the fact that there was only one screen. And then when you were watching the game, you didn't actually watch it like you were in the theater. It just went to like a full screen on our screens for us to watch it. So it wasn't like you're actually at the like I don't know if that makes any sense, but you know how like
Yeah, you
most
couldn't
of the
get the feel like you were at the show kind of thing. It was more of
Yeah.
like, yeah, I got you.
I can
Which
definitely see what you're saying.
And that's one of the big parts I like about the conferences is even though we're not actually there, when they go on stage and we see the big screens, we kind of feel like we are, and I didn't get that a whole lot. Like they could have pretty much just recorded it and then just played it all on like a TV show to all of us on screen instead.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think it was either last E3 or the year before that. They actually had it surrounded with screens at one point.
Yeah, it
So
was
they had a
actually
screen
like
on the left,
six-
right, and the front. So
I thought
It
that was
was like
kind of cool
6
last year
screens.
though.
It was like, wasn't it 6? It was like 6
Yeah, it was
big
just
screens
huge
on top of each
screens.
other.
Yeah, it was crazy.
yeah, that was way better.
But at least you felt like you were there. And of course, the fact that it was the theater, it was a gorgeous setup. And I would have actually liked to see, like, they had the band or the orchestra actually playing majority of the songs for each game. I would have actually liked to have seen that a bit more, like actually seeing them give the music to this video game. But they didn't show a lot of that, and I would have loved to have seen that.
Cool.
What about anybody else? How did you feel about the whole theater mode atmosphere?
I liked it. I thought that the theater atmosphere was nice. I didn't really care too much about the stage. And it's kind of like you said, it kind of took away when you weren't in theater view. But the orchestra really did catch me, and that was probably one of my highlights for the show.
Yeah, she absolutely loved the orchestra.
Yep, that was nice.
I love musicals, so that was kind of... I do. I like musical, like Phantom of the Opera and all that. I love musicals, so... I thought it was cool at first, and then when you didn't actually get to see it, just... Because they could have done the whole smoke and everything, and there's so much you can do with it, but... Oh well. What was everybody's highlight of the Sony conference? Let's start with Xbox.
I mean, this might be like straight across the board. My highlight was God of War. Actually seeing that and seeing that Kratos has a kid and everything like that, and that he's taking like that fatherly role in the way that he would. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Showing love in a very kind of stern and like do this type manner. The game looked really good. Not only that, I did notice like when the troll came out from under the bridge and Kratos was fighting the troll and everything like that, when the troll's face hit the ground, like, and you saw that impact ripple in his face, like everything looked really cool in that. And I said it when we were doing the live stream as well. I was like, do you think this is going to be a kind of like pass the torch type game, or maybe not this title, but maybe into like the end of the next God of War? It might be a pass the torch to his son type.
Yeah, I could see that, sure.
And I thought that was really cool. So that was definitely the highlight for me.
What about you, Snap? What was your highlight?
The Resident Evil 7 Biohazard.
Oh, yeah.
I was kind of excited when I saw what it was, but I didn't really get the Resident Evil feel from it. So I want to see a little bit more of it, but I did read that it's supposed to be for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Windows coming January 24th, and it's going to support the VR. So the VR kind of threw me off. I was like, oh no, it's not going to be for Xbox, but supposedly it will be. So that was an even bigger highlight. And God of War looked good.
Demo is terrifying. The game is absolutely horrifying.
That's what I want to hear, man.
Looking forward to it then.
Didn't get past the first hallway.
What about you, Zaz?
I want to go with the obvious of God of War, or the fact that I knew Kojima was going to announce another thing. Like, I knew that was coming. It's either going to be Detroit or Spider-Man. I don't know if I've ever talked about the fact that I'm a huge Quantic Dream fan for all their games, like Beyond, and I have talked about it before. So, Android, kind of cool stuff, but Insomniac, with their coming off of the movement style of, somebody remind me of the name now. I feel so stinking dumb. What's the name of the Xbox exclusive game that Insomniac just made?
Sunset
Overdrive?
Thank you. Oh my gosh, yes. Just coming off of Sunset Overdrive, and then with their nice little movement mode, I'm like, okay, taking that and putting a Spider-Man kind of feel on it, I can see that. I like that a lot.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Being a non-traditionally like super big Marvel fan either, like I have always had an enjoyment for Spider-Man games in general. So I am actually like really excited to see what Spider-Man does.
Awesome. What about you, Fox?
I guess the beginning, I was really interested because they started off really strong, so I thought for sure it was going to be an interesting show. So that's my highlight at the beginning, because after that just went downhill for me.
Okay, what about you, GKB?
My highlight of the show, I would have to say it's probably that zombie game. I forgot the name of it.
Days Gone.
Days Gone.
Yeah, like that.
Did you see the physics of that?
Yeah, that was
amazing.
That was really cool. Like, I didn't know like at first like what it was going to be, and I was kind of like, maybe not. But then when they went back and showed the gameplay of the zombies and all that stuff, I was like, yeah, this is pretty cool.
That's how Sons of Anarchy should have ended.
Awesome. I have to say, this has nothing against Sony, so I'm not a hater. But my biggest highlight was the fact I did not see Titanfall 2 on their stage. I'm sorry, but I was nice.
There was a brief second. I saw a flash of it, and I was
well, that
yeah,
doesn't
the
mean
montage.
nothing, though, because they had other multi-plats in there that are actually Xbox. So that has nothing to do with just because it may not have actually been that game. Like, there's that other one that looks identical to Titanfall.
Hawken.
What?
Is it Hawken? Or was
that one. Like, if you watch some of the screenplay that they did at the pre-show, there's scenes that look exactly like Titanfall. So, either way, that, like, nothing against any of it. It's just I was so relieved that, by the looks of it, no one got marketing right. So that just kind of made me really happy. I'm sorry, but it did.
Yeah, it looks like nobody really has it, I think, at this point. Like, I mean, we don't know for sure, but I don't think anybody has it.
It's up in the air.
I think they would have announced it already. Like, it doesn't make much sense. The game's coming out on the 28th, so. But, you know, it does come down to either way. God of War, I definitely really love that game. It looked amazing with the gameplay that they showed and everything that they did with it, and I really think the orchestra really brought that game and made you feel like you were actually, you know, part of it. Again, it comes back to that whole opera feel, and it was just something I really enjoyed. But, you know, they had a lot of great gameplays and stuff in there, so.
Did God of War throw anybody else for a little bit of a loop, though? Like, with like... so who all panel has played at least like one of the God of Wars? Like,
I played two.
Two?
I
Okay.
played 3.
So, like, okay, well, then yeah, you two. The question goes to both of you guys. You remember the way that God of War was initially, where it was very hack and slashy. It was not overhead, but it was a little bit farther back.
Yeah,
Right.
I noticed
And now it's like and actually,
And they don't lock the camera on this either. It looks like it's just like all over too.
And
so.
I like really liked the storyline of God of War, but I really hated the gameplay. So that was kind of like a thing for me. So now seeing that it plays a little bit more like an over-the-shoulder, I'm like, that's a definite selling point. Now I'm
Yeah, I
all
agree
on
with
board
you.
with that game.
I agree with you.
So I don't know if
100%.
I was the only one. I thought I was crazy because I was like, is this different? Like,
Yeah, it's definitely
Yeah,
different.
I
man.
noticed it right off the bat.
I think they took a lot of their criticism they got for that too, with like the stuck camera angles and all that kind of stuff. They took it to heart, man.
yeah,
It came out.
hated that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they definitely
Let's say
grew from that.
it's always good when they actually like listen to their consumer base and stuff. I have a question with God of War, and K Mega actually, you know, posed this question when he saw like, you know, the stag get shot with the arrow, and they were like, you know, hanging over the stag with the knife and stuff like that. He was like, "Do you think this could be possibly like be running on like the Neo spec?" Because if you notice like the fur for the stag and stuff like that, and just the overall look of the game, like it was really smooth. It looked really good. So I just wanted to know from you guys, what do you think?
Honestly, I've said this a couple times about like all the E3 shows. I think a majority of the games are actually running on PC. Because if you got to think about it, like they're showing this to investors and all that stuff, so they're trying to show the best possible way they can show these games. So running it on a high-end PC is doing the best they can.
They wouldn't even spec it out, like spec the you know, to run at like a certain framework.
I mean, who knows for sure, but I just look at it sometimes and I'm like, man, this definitely looks like PC and all that kind of stuff. I'm being honest, man. Like,
Yeah, no doubt, man.
I was so upset with Battlefield because I was like, these are, and you could see it because they were playing on mouse and keyboard. I was like, crap, man, I'm probably not getting these rain effects because this is all like a souped-up PC. So I was like, another point down for Battlefield for me.
but I mean, that's what these whole shows are about, man, is to get you hype, get you,
That's true.
and all that kind of stuff. And that's why, like, you see later on, like,
But-
oh, they look downgraded and da-da-da-da. But who cares? Like, I don't really care about that stuff. I care about how the game plays, how much enjoyment I'm going to have playing the game. That's what matters to me.
Now, gee, I like what you said with that, but if you remember, if you go back to Microsoft's whole thing, they showed everybody playing it on different devices.
True.
It was really cool.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that they have one of the coolest things that they showed was like the Play Anywhere thing. I think that's a fantastic idea.
Awesome. All right, so what was everyone's lowest point of the show?
VR. VR. I hate VR.
Yeah, VR. I was thinking about it, but I'm like, yeah.
I just every show when they show like VR, like no matter what show it is, I'm just like, yeah, I'm gonna go to sleep now.
I mean,
Yeah, the VR for Batman was confusing. VR for Final Fantasy was confusing. VR for Star Wars actually looked interesting, but I'm not gonna play that.
like, I understand being an artist, but I do not need to see Norman Reedus in that light.
I was waiting for somebody to say that. Oh my goodness.
Like, I understand it's an art, but I'm gonna
I
play the
swear,
game.
dude. I swear, like I don't know what it is. Like I'm probably gonna get some hate on this, but like they come out and like show Kojima like he's some crazy rock star or some like huge celebrity or something, and maybe he is like whatever to some people, but and then I think he just tries to be the most eccentric, like crazy wild out stuff in any of the weird things that he does, man.
That,
I'm just like
that was part of my problem with Konami in general, because I think Konami finally got tired of his bullcrap with Metal Gear Solid Phantom Pain, and that's why Phantom Pain was so much shorter, because he goes out and he says all these ideas, and he's like, hey, I want to do the craziest and most horrible stuff you could possibly think of. I want to unsettle, like you saw how PT was. It was like, I want to unsettle people as much as I can.
I mean, that's just what he does, I guess.
But he needs an inordinate amount of time, and it's horrible because he is a rock star, because he is this artist. He is like this video game artist where he's like, this game is not coming out till it's done. But at the same time, like, we end up waiting like 8 years for the game to come out. So that's kind of like, it's kind of that trade-off of like, we get this weird stuff.
Or unless it gets canceled again.
Yes, it's just like that guy from Team Ninja. I freaking forgot his name. He was a rock star.
All the Dead or Alive series and Ninja Game or something. Yeah, I forgot who he is.
Which, I was actually going to say, like, that was my biggest highlight of the show, is everyone got to see Norman Reedus' ass.
No, CGI
and all that
ass.
digital.
Right,
Yeah, I was just going to say, his digital ass.
True, digital ass.
I have to wonder some of that though, because it was even weird for Kojima standards, and I was like, this feels like Guillermo del Toro a little bit. And he said he was going to work with him.
I tried to see, but the writing in their conference was so like weirdly done that it was actually hard to see.
I was looking and it was buffering like on my end. It wasn't like rendering enough for it, and I was like, I was looking for Del Toro anywhere.
Let me ask you guys, like, in that trailer, like, I guess it's going to be his next game, and did that translate to anybody as any kind of game at all?
I kind of thought maybe it was like Pandora. Has anyone seen that movie Pandora?
Yeah, I saw Pandora.
Well, I know you did, but I'm sorry.
Well, you asked.
You did.
Whatever.
I mean, anyone else? Has anyone else seen the movie Pandora?
It sounds familiar. I've seen so many.
Yeah, it sounds familiar. I don't know.
They had like all those they were kind of crazy on this ship, and they had like cords and everything stuck in them, and then there was like weird creatures. It reminded me a lot of that, like as if it was that style of game. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
it's tied into the Matrix.
You don't know.
Some people are saying too, that new icon that he's using, and they did like the CG rendering. Some people are saying it looks like it's the same exact like Norman Reedus's eyes under that armor.
Oh my god, I have no idea.
There's absolutely like, I mean, that could have been a dream sequence. That could have been like a drug trip. Like, we don't even know with Kojima. It could
That
be
is a bad drug trip, man.
It's a wait and see kind of thing where I'm like, he did the right thing though, where it was like, it was so unsettling that it's like, okay, I have to know what this is now. Like, that's his style.
That's what Brutal said too, man. He's like, I gotta know what it is.
It's just him. I mean, it's Kojima.
Disturbing.
That's him. That is him all together.
It's true.
Well, he definitely went to the right like people, because PlayStation's gonna kiss his feet and let him do whatever he wants to do. So
which is
open.
what he needs in honesty. Like that's what he needs. I mean,
that's what he wants. Honestly,
it's what everybody should want. And I mean, if he delivered, like Metal Gear Solid 4 was really stinking good, and then Phantom Pain, where they started to have the issues, was not nearly as good. And you can see where he gets to move versus where he gets corporated. But as somebody who doesn't like anything usually corporation-wise, I am for Kojima spreading his wings as far as he can fly.
So my biggest downfall of this conference had to be the ending.
Yep.
The way
it seemed like it ended really
this.
abrupt. You're right. I agree.
It was quick too.
He was just pretty much like, well, before I leave, and of course everyone's asking themselves, wait, is he just
we did the whole
leaving,
time. We're like, nah,
we
this
did.
can't be it.
Yeah, it's like, is he leaving, or is he gonna? No, he just left, and it was done. It was, the ending was just strange. So.
Yeah, like I said in the beginning of their show, when they were showing God of War, Horizon, and even The Last Guardian, for those of you who's been waiting since you were babies or whatever, after that it was downhill, and it ended with giant question marks. Also,
a lot of lacking release dates.
That's actually my biggest downfall for them right there. I call it Sony smoke and mirrors and stuff like that. They don't put release dates down there. They have people thinking, oh, there's people out there. It's like, oh, that's coming next year and this and that, like, and you don't know and you won't know. And then, track records with delays and stuff like that, it gets kind of crazy. That's why I can't score them high. I saw a lot of good things by them, but until that whole smoke and mirrors, show us release dates, release these games, I can't score them high. And
to be fair though, like I'm gonna say, like they did come out before the show and said, hey, we're showing stuff a couple years away. To be fair, but I agree with Xbot. Like even so, like don't show us too early then, because then we're just gonna see it a couple years in a row, and that's kind of what we're getting with a lot of the shows now. So,
I mean, yeah, and to kind of like compound on that too, like I've been on the forefront of being the one who is so sick of them not coming up with realistic dates for these things and showing them. So
because we're as gamers, like we want to know when we're going to be able to play these games.
I'm also okay with like delaying your game a bit, but like I have been so sick with delays that I'd almost rather like not be hyped up for any kind of like early release than have it be taken away from me. Exactly. And that's kind of like where I'm at, where I'm like, okay, I'd rather them not show it than show me something that's unrealistic to appease me. And that's where I'm at currently.
See, I actually went through the shows. I went through each show today and actually wrote down game by game or whatever they showed, whether it was a feature or hardware, and I actually took down everything. And I actually released them on Twitter today. And for Sony, they actually have God of War in development. Days Done in development. Last Guardian, October 25th. Zero Dawn, February 28th. Detroit in development. Resident Evil, January 24th. VR, October 13th. Farpoint in development. Star Wars in development. Batman Arkham, sometime in October. Final Fantasy, September 30th. Final Fantasy VR in development. Call of Duty, November 4th. Crash Bandicoot Remastered in development. Crash Bandicoot Skylander coming first PlayStation in October, but still coming to Xbox as well. Lego Star Wars coming to also Xbox, but is releasing on January 28th, or sorry, June 28th.
Well, I think the big thing here is just like, there's a lot of games that just aren't coming.
I had 2 left, but they were in development as well. There was Death Stranded, which is in development, and Spider-Man in development. And that's every game. That's literally everything that Sony showed on their stage. And most of the ones with release dates are actually multiplats.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. When it comes to like the exclusives, and I personally I like the exclusives. Like I'm an actual gamer. I know all you guys are actual gamers. So exclusives probably mean more to us than probably the casual base out there. You know what I'm saying? That will, like, we have multiplats and stuff, but it's the exclusives. It's the Halos, it's the Gears, like on the Microsoft side, and the new IPs that you can only get there that we kind of really look into. And on Sony's side, you just said it. It's quote unquote in development. There was 2 of them that you said as exclusives that actually have a date. So.
Which, what happened to the games that are released in this year? Like, I'm sure a lot of people would have actually liked to have got, like, Gran Turismo's actual release date. Last Guardian, of course, is coming this year. And
here's the most important thing. Like, no matter what show it is, like Sony or whatever, they were kind of ripping on Sony, and because they've already said that's like 2 years plus out. But the overlying thing is, we want to know when they're coming out. We want to, as gamers, we want to know when we're going to be able to play these games. If they're not years, just don't show them to us. Like, show them next year. Like,
I mean, unless you fundamentally change the show, which is what I've been wanting. Like, I would much rather, I would like to see the future of it right now and see a game that's a year and a half out, but then again, not see it next E3 and see another cycle of things that are a year and a half out, so I see what the future of it is. Because right now, I am so jaded with E3. We're in this weird rut, I feel like, where we're kind of double seeing stuff. Maybe I got spoiled by Fallout being like, oh, hey, here's your announcement. Right, and here is your release date this year, and you're never going to see this again in another E3, and you're not going to... Like, Mass Effect, I've been hearing about for 3 E3s now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I'm kind of sick, and they still haven't even shown me a full gameplay trailer. It's like,
Nope.
Can
You
you,
know-
imagine, can you imagine how Jamie Moran feels right now?
I know, right? Gifts
yes.
incoming. But like, what do you guys think about like, as far as like maybe we're gonna see less and less at the E3s coming forward until they get these new consoles out and get that whole thing worked out.
Actually, I was actually just about to bring that up too. Good point, because that's what I was kind of thinking about too. I'm like, okay, did Xbox, like, what happens next year? It could either be fundamentally good or fundamentally bad. Because like, okay, we got a lot of stuff this year that is release dated for, what would you say, like before next E3, right? Or am I wrong in that timeline?
Yeah, ish.
So when it comes out, okay, either we are going to get a show that is, which I'm believing this is going to be both shows next year, are going to be like half of it exclusively hardware, which I don't know about you guys, but that's like the bane of my existence, where I despise, I don't think it's the right time or place for that. I think I just want to see games. And that's what I'm either wondering, is either they're going to stretch out hardware and multiplats, or they're going to have a whole bunch of new IPs. It's either going to be really good or really bad, but either way,
it's going to be
they have
interesting for sure.
forced this on them by not showing stuff that is kind of a year out this year, and as opposed to showing stuff that is all coming this year.
Here's the you know, the fine line, like, of, you know, what could happen. Eventually these consoles are going to get to where power doesn't matter anymore. They're going to have the best of the best no matter what. So then it's just going to be, games are just going to be built to that spec going forward. So then we're going to start seeing. But I mean, it's going to take time to get there.
Agreed.
Definitely going to take
All
time
right,
to get
we are moving on to almost the 2-hour mark, so we are going to jump into the questions now. Starting with A Brownie says, who will be buying a Slim versus waiting for a Scorpio?
I'm getting both, so.
What?
You know, go ahead. Go ahead, Fox. Go ahead, definitely.
I was just gonna say, I'm leaning more towards a Slim because I can see it, and if they make it a custom console, I think it will look nice. Versus a Scorpio, which is still a long ways from now, and I'm only thinking about, you know, more current timing right now.
I mean, you know, I like my black consoles better, personally, and I am also really banking on the fact that one of these days we'll get some kind of OS so I can start building like a upgradable computer. So yeah, none of those are really too appealing to me.
Anyone else like to comment before I move to the next question?
I pretty much answered it in the chat. I didn't know you guys were going to go into questions. I plan on getting both. Well, me and Xbot, of course. I'm going to get the Slim, you know, when it comes out. And then down the road, we're going to trade in my X1. And then I'm going to take his Elite. And then we're going to put the Scorpio in the bedroom.
Nice.
We kind of have the same idea. We're going to actually probably buy the Slim, put it in the living room. Or GKB's going to get it, and we'll take his and put it in the living room. And then once the Scorpio releases, we'll give our kids the collector's edition Xbox Ones, and then we'll just take the old black Xbox Ones, trade them in for the Scorpio, and yeah.
Nice.
Tom's going to have his work cut out for him now.
Her answer is not necessarily mine, though. I will say that.
Oh, yes, it is.
No.
Oh, there it goes.
I know the feels, bro. I know the
after
feels.
this podcast, by the way. But my whole thing with the Slim, all right, I've been trying to look into this and what type of hard drive it is, because I have an Elite that has the hybrid drive. Now I need the startup speed and the download and the download speed to be comparable to what I have now. All right, if it's not like that, which I haven't had any word about this yet, and I've been, like, I tweeted Aaron Greenberg, I tried doing as much research as I can. I still can't come up with the answer yet. So I don't know if anybody in the chat knows, or if you guys know, but if somebody knows about, like, the speed of the drive, whether, you know, the startup of the machine, startup of the games is going to be as quick as the Elite, because the Elite is beautiful when it comes to this stuff. That would be, like, my deciding factor. Now, if Snaps wants to get one, that's no problem. You know, we're going to roll with that whole plan. But I am very curious to see, like, if it's a hybrid drive in there, if the load speeds are comparable, if the startup is comparable. Because I don't want to go back now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, totally.
Definitely. Okay, Predator says, what leaks did you hear about that didn't come true? Did you find the most disappointing?
Come on, Bethesda. Where's my Wolfenstein? Where's my Evil Within 2? Like, come on.
Dude, yeah, you've been on Wolfenstein like crazy, man.
I know.
I wanted Evil Within.
And then Ubisoft. Where's my Splinter Cell? Let's go.
Red Dead, man.
Red Dead was a really big one that everyone kept, but there was
I really
nothing.
wanted the prequel. Like, I really wanted a prequel to Redemption. Really badly.
What about anyone else?
Well, I don't know if this counts, but Elite headset maybe. I know it wasn't really leaked, but
I'm not
Good call.
Yo,
That was kind of more or less I wanted, but never was actually officially.
Yeah, it was more of a rumor.
It was kind of that branched off of the whole Elite keyboard and mouse, which we still didn't see that anyways.
Yeah.
We didn't see any form of
Which seemed like a really
Elite
solid
branding.
leak too. Like I didn't understand.
How did I forget that I didn't get World of Warcraft until right now?
That World of Warcraft though.
That leak. Sorry, Red Dead, you're out of here.
Well, she will. Oh, my bad. But she will.
go ahead.
The headset thing. Definitely, you should definitely get a hold of the Don, because the Don has some information about Microsoft signing a deal with a certain headset company. Basically a
Unless it's Astro, I don't care.
No, it's actually something that the Don, he's into all this stuff. He says it's actually the quality is actually better than Astro. So you might want to hit him up
Maybe
on Twitter
Razer.
or whatever.
I can deal with
Plantronics.
Razer. I can't if
Plantronics.
it's Turtle Beach, then I want nothing to do.
No,
with
it's not Turtle Beach.
it.
Not
I
Turtle
just
Beach.
like Turtle Beach.
Interesting.
That sounds
Razer,
interesting.
I can see Razer because they've kind of been going back and forth between the two companies with their gear and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Razer's coming a lot more into gaming gear too, which is kind of interesting for consoles.
I wish I could remember the name. I wish he was in the chat right now, because I know he'd be typing it up right now to tell everybody what it was.
But again, that may not necessarily be the headset that I wanted to see, though.
Hey, it's. I mean, I got some positive movement forward on that. So
definitely agree. It's just it's kind of something I wanted now, because now I'm gonna have to just resort to something else, because my headset kind of sucks. So
I got you.
it's kind of one of those I want now, but ain't gonna get. So it's okay. All right. Anybody else have any rumors that they were disappointed that didn't happen?
Go ahead.
I didn't pay too much attention to them.
I don't necessarily have a rumor, but I do have something interesting that came out of the PC Gamer conference, just real quick, because I think it has something to do with Scorpio.
Okay.
I watched the PC Gamer conference, and of course the host he looked like he was sniffing glue or something like that. But within that, somebody came out from AMD, and they actually unveiled the Zen processor.
Interesting.
Now, when you look at that, and then you look at the 8-core processing unit that they're talking about with the Scorpio, I actually strongly believe now that the Zen will be in the Scorpio.
I agree.
So, whether, that's kind of, to me, that's a little more like, yeah, that's exactly going to happen, because they actually showed it in the PC Gamer, and that's really interesting to me. So,
Well, speaking of the Scorpio and the
Busta's question.
Yep, moves on to Busta's
I like this
question,
question.
asking, will Scorpio have to be 500 or less to have decent sale prices, or will it even sell if it's $600 to $700 because of the power?
Cool. Here's my take on this. Like, the Scorpio is going to be a premium experience. Let's just start with that. Like, the stuff that's going to be in that is going to be like top-notch stuff that's probably not even released to PCs yet. Like the RX 480 and probably the Zen processor, since they just released that. So what you're looking at, and it all depends on like how many Microsoft buys. Like if they're buying like 20 million CPUs, 20 million GPUs, or APUs if they're on the same chip or the same SoC, as we like to call them, then you're going to get them at a cheaper price, which means it's going to be best for us. I still think we're looking at a $500 price range, maybe a little bit lower, but I think 500 is going to be the sweet spot for these consoles coming out.
Well, and the big old wall coming with it of that you need something that can, like a monitor or a TV that can also perform with it. So,
well, yeah, I mean, if you want that
price-wise,
if you want that 4K, but I mean,
that's honestly what I would want.
Yeah,
Friday.
but I mean, if you're happy with your 1080p like experience. Like it'll still play on that. It's not like it's
Which I'm
not
not happy with that at all.
But just to reiterate what you said about $500 possibly lower. That is the exact parameters right there. It's gonna. From what I've seen from AMD with their low cost GPU architecture, but with high performance, and they actually came out with they unveiled the R470 and the R460 at the PC Gamer Conference as well. So, and which is, it's just another step with the more affordable architecture, but higher performance wise. That's where AMD is going. So I would bet at most $500, which to me is affordable. I mean, I paid for that day one with the X1 with the Kinect. So.
Interesting. Luke Taylor on Twitter said that there was actually a rumor of Red Dead 2 that was supposed to actually be on Sony's stage, played at the end, but was actually cut short and removed because of the Orlando shooting in respect for them.
Which...
Did we see that in any other media outlets? Because I didn't see anything about that.
Yeah, if it's true, that's really upsetting. If it's not, it's somebody's really like tasteless.
Is there a reason though why Red Dead would have anything to do? Because there's other shooter games. It's not like.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking.
But it kind of there was like a time where that was kind of. They did that with Gangster Squad whenever the Aurora, Colorado shooting came out. They actually pulled that trailer from theaters, even though it was like a 1920s movie.
Well, it's just like, I understand
like that.
Of that, but my question comes to I'm not a huge Red Dead fan, so I don't really know a whole lot about the game. But would it have any actual form to go with the Orlando shooting?
It's so old that I don't really see how. Like it should be so old that they don't have anything besides a fixed mounted machine gun. So I honestly think this is like somebody's really tasteless leak trying to profiteer off of a tragedy, which is
it's
disgusting in its own manner.
Because here's the thing too, if it was a game that was like, let's just say it was Red Dead or whatever that they were gonna show, like media would be blowing up right now with them not showing that game because it's still in existence. They'd be like, oh, they didn't show it because of this, but it's still a thing. Like, how come we're not seeing that anywhere? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Like,
well, plus wouldn't have still been on this floor. Wouldn't have still been on the floor today. So people would have actually been,
Well, that's the thing too. Is like that happened like a couple days before E3 even started. So why couldn't they cut the footage and still show the game? Like it still doesn't make any sense. Like
or the trailer.
It just doesn't make sense.
It's somebody being an idiot and profiteering.
Again, it was someone on Twitter said, so I just wanted to throw that out there to everyone. But with that, we should probably cut this show. And
big shout out to everybody watching us. You guys are awesome. We love you.
Yeah, I'm obviously going to do the
I was just
No, I thought I'm lost today. So...
it's been a rough couple days.
It's been a rough couple days.
I kind of I was like, wait, is he ending the show or am I ending the I
threw you off.
I was trying to read tweets to see if there was any questions I could shout out from anyone on Twitter, so I just kind of lost it there for a minute there. But hey, all right, so big shout out to everybody watching. We would like to say thank you and appreciate everyone who stayed with us throughout the whole entire last 2 days with all the conferences and enjoying and rocking out with us. Again, big thank you to, of course, the man of social media graphic designs, Jay Williams, making everybody look great, look amazing, and is always doing a lot of work for us. So big thank you to him. And now we will go into letting each and every one of these gamers give their
real quick, She-Wolf, before you just go ahead and we forgot to mention something too that we do every week for the community, and that's the community game time. Since it is...
I figured you were going to do that.
Yeah, I wanted to do it before so we could just get out of the way. So since it is for the community, and we've been picking the game the last few times, we're going to give everybody a chance to go ahead and pick a game, put it in the comments or hit us up on Twitter. We'll put the favorites in a poll, and then we'll go ahead and vote on them, and that's what we'll play this week. So we want to give you guys a chance.
Can I give you my vote right now?
I think it's going to be Halo.
Fine.
Minecraft would be cool too. Whatever.
I'll do Minecraft too.
We don't have Minecraft though.
What? Somebody said Gears?
$10.
Gears?
said
What?
Gears.
Gears?
No
what?
one said
What?
Gears. Nobody ever
There
went
will there will be a poll
I hear Gears
definitely.
Echo. It's somewhere. Yeah.
There will definitely be a poll on Gamers Knows Best Twitter page, so keep an eye out for that and vote for which game you would like to play this Saturday on Community Game Night with the Console Corner crew. So keep an eye out for that. Now
And-
let's get.
We're super happy that everybody loves that. By the way, it's fantastic. Everybody has a blast playing. So
I don't think you've ever cut me off so much.
I'm gonna cut you off again.
I think it might be my influence. I do apologize here.
Definitely. All right. So. May
one more thing.
May
Yeah,
I
one
let
more
the gamers say their
more
stuff
thing.
now?
One more
Or
thing.
So,
Oh, one more. What?
Good.
guess I better ask permission before we.
Oh,
Oh.
no, you took it too far.
Nah, it was kind of a
You
joke
just
because
ruined it.
because Xbot and Oh Snap there, how he was saying that may not be his same opinions as her, so it was just kind of.
What did I start? I didn't mean to start anything, by the way. I'm backing away slowly.
Yeah. So all right. So let's end now with the gamers each giving out their outros, starting with Oh Snap.
Now you gotta start with me. I don't know what to say.
What do you have going on this
Plugs,
week?
babe, plugs.
What?
I'm
Yeah,
working.
Plugs, your plugs.
I'm working.
She's
Where
also
you
on
going?
the next podcast.
I'm on the next podcast. You guys can find me on Twitter at Girls Can Game 22, and yeah, thanks for having me on.
Awesome.
Don't you also have your own YouTube that you stream games on?
Yeah, it's a work in progress right now, and I have some other things coming up that I haven't really announced to anybody yet.
Cool.
Alrighty. What about you, Xbot?
Of course, we have the next podcast. It's every Saturday, 6 p.m. Eastern. Me, O Snaps, K Mega, Fooskis, Newark NJ, and the man we all show respect to, the Don. I'm also, on Mooch's Crossfire podcast every Friday, 6 o'clock, and you can find my YouTube channel, Twitter, Twitch stream when I do that, and that's all under the same name, which is Xbot448.
Yo, so Console Corner's not going to get an exclusive first thing of Oh Snap's new projects? What's going on?
Ouch.
No one knows yet except for Xbox.
I was gonna say I don't know all of it though, but I'll pretend I do. Yeah, I know absolutely everything, guys. It's gonna be great. Shh.
Cool.
This is really turning into Battle of the Sexes here.
No.
We could do that one day.
Normally,
We should. I definitely think we should have a Battle of the Sexes. Maybe that will be the first new female podcast that comes up. Yeah. Interesting things going on there. It is coming, people. It is coming. All right, Fox, what about you? Let's see you go through.
I was just gonna say like, ew, couples. Am I right, Zach?
Wow.
But I don't know.
Why, you used to fight about gears just like you're married.
Yay! I ship it all day. All right, so I just want to say thank you guys for always inviting me here. I think I'm in this channel now more than my own channel, so awesome. I live here now, yay! But really, thanks everybody for following me on Twitter, and I almost have 300 subscribers on YouTube, so
Congrats.
if you guys have not subscribed, check it out. And I did a video earlier also, so thanks for having me on here. You guys can find me as Lady Foxfire on everything.
Awesome. What about you, Zaz?
Oh, holy crap, man! I don't even know how to go about doing this.
Should we let GKB go first and then let you?
Yeah,
All
probably.
right, GKB, let's start with you.
Okay. Big shout out to Twitter follower Sean Clevenger, man. He's been hitting me up with like so much information. I appreciate it, man. That's some good stuff you've been throwing out there to me. Hey guys, it's GKB, the governor, the professor, Steve Harvey now. Like, I've got so many names going for me right now. Yeah, we love you guys, man. Follow us on Twitter. Follow all these guys on YouTube and Twitters and stuff. And I'm kind of all messing up right now because I'm tired. But we love you guys. Thanks for rocking out with us.
You can also find him, of course, here doing Gamers Knows Best, and you can find him on Twitter at Gamers Knows Best. So
And Xbox Nation, Shop Podcast.
and Shop Podcast on Saturday nights, and Xbox Nation on Wednesday nights. And of course, I am She-Wolf. You can find me on Twitter. I do keep everyone up to date on all the podcasts when their times are and when they are released, and any other great news that we can definitely find is usually there. So check that out. You can find me at xshewolfx. Wolf has a U instead of an O. And of course, you can find me on Gamers Knows Best here with GKB, rocking out on Console Corner, and find me on Xbox Nation on Wednesday nights with Crab Gamer and all of them. And a big shout out to Ran again for hitting that 1 million gamer score on
buddy.
Xbox Daily, which was amazing.
Awesome.
Big shout out to him. Go check it out if you missed it. And we will now be doing a special closing of the Console Corner tonight with Zaz.
Yeah, so this was my last official episode as a a permanent member of Console Corner. I will be passing the torch to Brutal now. He will be in my place each week. Want to say thank you to my 2 or 3 fans, whoever you are.
What are you talking
One
about?
of them's
man?
Crap Gamer.
The Twitter followers that weren't bots, I'd like to thank you for sticking through it. And of course, I mean, the guys with 4 Guys with Quarters, PTK, Shop Podcast, for giving me a chance on theirs, letting me come on and spout my nonsense, and of course, like the platform that started it. It's a definitely heavy thing to be passing it off to somebody, but for right now, it's what I got to do. So of course, I mean, all you guys,
Of
love
course,
you all.
hopefully we'll still have you back, though, as
Yes.
Yeah,
a special
sometimes.
guest appearing.
Seth's
Yeah.
had a lot of stuff going on, and he wants to take a break for a little bit to handle some of
Yeah.
that stuff. And he'll be on from time to time, so don't worry.
It wasn't my choice, but
Hey, shut up!
I was too provocative. But yes, thank you everybody who actually let me talk. So I mean, this definitely been fun.
Yeah, man. We're going to miss you, brother.
No doubt, man.
Oh, I feel a little bit sad now. Who's gonna yell at me about Gears?
Oh,
You
he's
should. I
definitely
tried to
going to be
make it
there.
as upsetting as possible.
He's gonna send people yell at Gear scripts probably, and
He's gonna send me Twitter messages with like, "Gears is garbage" for no reason.
Oh no, yeah. Don't worry about that.
He'll still have Twitter, and I'm sure he'll still be rocking out in the chat when he can. So
Guys, he'll
Yay.
still be like showing up from time to time. Don't worry.
yeah,
He's
it's not like he's gone. He's not like
Yeah.
killed off. We didn't go to his house and
he's not
shoot him down or
moving to
nothing.
Antarctica or anything. Like
Yeah, there we go. It's not
All
moving
right.
to Antarctica.
He's just got some
he
things
found
going
the
on.
hole to inner Earth, and that's where he's gonna live
Yeah.
from now on. Like
Maybe
No.
maybe he just got way too into Call of Duty and he's going to live up.
I
in-
was just like, you know what? Let's take a good like peppy show and let's just like.
Drop the mic.
But yeah.
oh man,
Oh, good show.
Well, if that is it, then we are ending the show now. And again, thank you everyone for coming and joining us for the last 3 days.
Yeah.
nice.
Take care of your fellow gamers, guys.